Oh yeah?
Hi.
How are we doing?
Good, thank you. Well, hello ladies, gents and teddy bears. How we doing? Ted Coningsby channel back. Surprise! Hope we're all good, ladies, gents, teddy bears. I had a couple of hours to spare and I thought I'd drive past good old Ted's home and do a bit of potluck. And as I was driving past, I could hear a Spitfire that's already starting up. You can probably hear it in the background. And I believe it's going out very, very shortly by the sound of it. Again, potluck, I've got 3 hours to spare. Let's see what we can get in 3 hours or so. And hope you are all good and feeling in the mood for some Battle of Britain Memorial Flight action. And I do apologise, didn't mean to ignore you. I literally hit the button, as you said, no Lancaster.
No, she's got a problem, hasn't she?
I don't know, but all I've seen was the Spitfire, and it's just started up, so it should be going out in a bit.
Alright.
Alright.
Sounds good.
No worries.
You'd be the man in the know.
Well, I've got 3 hours to spare, and I thought I'm going to drive past and see what I can get in 3 hours, and that beauty's just started up, so all is good. So it should be taxiing.
The hangars are all shut, though.
Yeah.
Nothing really happening there by looking at that.
Not yet.
Where's Ted? Says my wife.
Ted will be. Oh, that's a good point. He hasn't even been on. Can't start the show without Ted.
As a complete novice.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much.
He's the expert.
Ladies, gents and teddy bears, our squadron leader Ted Coningsby. And welcome to a Saturday show. And you never know what you're going to get. Oh, actually, we got to go. Here comes the Spitfire. And it looks like the oldest ever airworthy Spitfire in the whole world. It looks like P7350. Have a look at this. The oldest airworthy Spitfire, so the most precious in the collection of the BBMF. Look at this. Yeah, P7350. Now, Spitfires weren't actually based at Coningsby. It was a bomber county. Starting life out with the Handley Page Hampden bombers and the Avro Manchester, and of course the Avro Lancaster next, with a little brief spell of the Anson and the Oxford, while the airfield was having its runways updated and turned into concrete hardened runways. First to use it was 617 Squadron in 1943, when the airfield was reopened. Actually, Mosquitoes were here as well, and eventually Boeing Washingtons, which are leased out B-29s to the Royal Air Force. Coningsby entered the jet era in 1953 with the English electric Canberra, and still continued its legacy with bomber command efforts and a bomber county right up to 1969. P7 still flying today. Actually flew in and fought in the Battle of Britain as well, so is a veteran, and it was part of the first batch of Spitfires from the Shadow factory where it originally was built at Castle Bromwich, and started its life with the Royal Air Force on the 13th of August 1940, served with 266 Squadron. And it was also based at Wittering and Hornchurch as well. 603 Squadron as well, Auxiliary Air Force at Hornchurch. Also piloted by Polish pilot Ludwik Martel. And he was hit. Here we go, here we go.
Pardon? Oh, sorry.
So I shut the door, yeah? Okay.
Beautiful, well, there we go. Oh, what a lovely surprise there. So that was Spitfire of the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, the oldest airworthy Spitfire in the world. And she is she's representing Spitfire Mark I, Romeo 6895. She's bear the markings of 54 Squadron, with Kilo Lima being 54 Squadron markings. The Bravo is the flight letter of the aircraft. And it represents Kiwi 3. Now you may notice a Kiwi there. Why is the Kiwi on there? Well, it was literally the B for Bravo was the personal aircraft of New Zealander Al Deer, and it was from the 10th of July 1940 when the start of the Battle of Britain happened until the 31st of August. And on that day when Hornchurch was bombed, as the squadron was taking off, Al Deer crashed upside down on the airfield in his Kiwi 3, and to the rescue came his fellow squadron pilot, who had crashed the right way up, and pulled him out. And since all three of Al Deer's Spitfires are actually named Kiwi with the bird painted on it, and he kind of reckoned that maybe it was kind of bringing him bad luck. And after all, I don't think Kiwis actually fly. But by the end of the war, Al Deer flown around 700 hours in fighter ops, and he was credited with 22 aerial victories, 10 probables and 18 enemy aircraft damaged. Survived a total of 6 forced landing, and he's had a total of 3 bailouts. And every 5 years or so, the BBMF do change the livery. How we doing, ladies, gents, teddy bears? Hope we're all good. Welcome to a little surprise show of the Ted Coningsby channel. Get the details of the the fly pass. I believe it's going out to do some fly pass, so that will give us a really good indication of let's have a look. What is it, the 23rd today? So it's potentially going to Maidstone, Winthorpe, Melton Mowbray, Earls Barton and Gedney Dyke. So it should return around just after 2-ish, maybe, looking at the fly pass, unless the well, we'll have a look if it is going to Maidstone. It doesn't look like it at the moment, but you never know. You never know. So it's got a series of planned fly pass. Welcome to the show. My name's Nikos. How we doing? Cameraman and commentator of the Ted Coningsby channel. Oh, no, Steve's here, but not with the burger van. It's always good to see him here. There's no burger van today. It's a Saturday. We don't often come here, but we do. We have done. I think the last one we did was in May. And Steve, let me just turn that round a minute. How you doing, man? You all right? Let me just pop this over here. How you doing?
Right.
Oh, I had 3 hours to spare.
A bit windy.
Hair's gone crazy. How you doing, man? All right? Yeah, good.
Well, that's coming back in it.
Hope so. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It's like, I love this, right? Because you just never know what is going on. You just absolutely never know. You just turn up. I've had to change a few plans. This again, another Eastbourne situation, unplanned day. I love these sort of days where we can. My hair's it's a little bit breezy, but you know what? Really fortunate that they're using 07. Really fortunate. So hopefully back within the next hour or so. We don't know. Keep track of it. It's on ADSB anyway, so we're all good. But like we always done. We usually do our BBMF movements here if you've got any questions, and I'll tell you what, I don't know what's happened, but since Eastbourne, the questions have just been amazing. Keep them coming because they are so good, and you know the channel is all about learning and you know, inspiring others. And so welcome, yes, to the Battle of Britain Memorial Flights home here at Coningsby, and it's been their home since 1976, but they weren't always called the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. They added memorial in 1973 when the Lancaster PA474 arrived with the flight. Now they're currently flying a lovely mixture of aircraft, but they've had a few different ones as well. So currently there's a selection of, there's a couple of Chipmunks. Now they're not in the actual display flight, but it is used for training, the two Chipmunks, de Havilland Chipmunks. We've also got the C-47 Dakota as well, which we're hoping it's coming back any day now. We're hoping it's coming back soon, but we'll talk to you about that in just a moment, and hopefully we'll get to see it at some point live on the show. They've got a selection of Spitfires. They have two Hurricanes, the Lancaster PA474, and a couple of what do we say, we've got Hurricane Spitfires. I feel like I've forgotten something. Oh, do you know when you got it in your mind? So Lancaster 1, which is the second airworthy Spitfire in the world. The other one's at the Canadian Museum, Heritage Museum out in Canada. And you never know, in about 5 years time, maybe 5 or 7, hopefully we get a third one, and that's Just Jane NX611 now. So yeah, we've got the Lancaster, two Hurricanes, a selection of Spitfires. Okay, we've got the Dakota, hopefully it will come back at some point in the next few days or any day now. To Chipmunks as well, so hopefully we're all good. And yeah, welcome. And it formed at Biggin Hill as they started life out as the historic aircraft flight, and I'm just making sure that I'm not going to miss the Spitfire or anything coming back. Let's have a look. Yeah, it looks like it's probably missed Maidstone. I just wanted to check because it was heading out somewhere else. But anyway, yeah, they started life at Biggin Hill. They formed on the 11th of July 1957 when it was just 3 Spitfires. That's all they had. They were called the Historic Aircraft Flight, and they arrived from Woodvale via Duxford are 3 Spitfires, PM631, which is still going today. PS853 and PS915. Okay, now they they arrived from Woodvale via Duxford to join the one and only LF363 Hurricane, which is still here, and PS915 arrived in the flight in 1958. And yeah, and it's had a couple of changes since then. There's been aircraft that were put into gate guard, gate guard roles as well. We've had several different things happening, and but yeah, they swapped aircraft around. TE330, for example, a Spitfire Mark 16. That TE330 that was on the gate guard duties, and at the West Malling as well. And the fleet eventually briefly increased with the addition of 2 more Mark 16s from static displays at the Royal Tournament as well, before moving to North Weald. So they've had quite a variety of bases and places where they've been making these places their home. And another one is Martlesham Heath as well. TE330 was presented to the US Air Force in the end, Academy, and that was on display at the Smithsonian Institute, whilst PS853 also went on gate guard duties as well, this time at West Raynham. Some of you will be familiar with some of those names as well. The both remaining Mark 16 Spitfires left the flight in 1958 after firstly they were involved in an incident on the ground, and these things do happen. They are, you know, they are historic aircraft. You know, some are 80 years old, for example, and after a short time they were also made Horsham St Faith, which is Newport Airport, their home, and another move to Coltishall in 1963. So they obviously moved to Norfolk, and they were away at what they've also had a brief time at Horsham as well, while they had the runway repairs done to Coltishall, and it made the home for 13 years. And PS853 had returned to the flight soon after arriving at Coltishall, while a Mark V Spitfire AB910, which we are so dear of because it's related to a very interesting flight. I wonder if I've got something similar to show. Yes, I have actually. Now the AB910 is also served as well, is a veteran, and also had an unexpected passenger, which I'll explain in just a moment. And also the aircraft were also featured in the Battle of Britain as well, in the actual movie. And further, Spitfire Mark II was given to the flight by a film company as well. And in 1972, the number of Hurricanes doubled to receive PZ865, and the last Hurricane production line of former Hawker also arrived as well. So we had two interesting Hurricanes as well. So one, it was the last Hurricane to have entered RAF service, and then we've also got the last one to have been built as well. So two legendary. And then in 1973 they had PA474 arrive while it was at 44 Squadron at RAF Waddington, and it arrived here at Coltishall. And then eventually in 1976 they made Coningsby the home, and they added memorial to that. So they were the Battle of Britain flight previous, so 1973, then they were called the Battle of Britain flight. It was only when they had the Lancaster arrive with them. Now, you may have heard in the background earlier just about the Dakota. We are missing it. We're hoping to get it back at some point, any day now. You never know, we might catch it on one of our live streams here, and it's a special beauty. I've actually got, for the first time, I'm going to show you the model, ZA947, and ZA947. Now, it's a C-47 Dakota if you're in the UK, or Skytrain if you're in the US, okay? And it was manufactured in 1942, so it's a genuine issued, and it was issued to the United States Army Air Force, and it was issued to them, and in September 1942, that year, was transferred to the Royal Canadian Air Force as well. Mainly served throughout its time in Canada, and then it became surplus to requirements in 1971. And, you know, the Royal Aircraft Establishment, the RAE at Farnborough, already had a Dakota on their strength, but this was due to retire, so the Royal Canadian Aircraft was purchased and allocated a serial KG661, as the aircraft carried the serial 661 with the Royal Canadian Air Force. And during a time with the RAE, KG661 was used for a variety of tasks and roles. That's such a lovely place. Yeah, man, take it. Look at that. That's a beaut, isn't it? And yeah, so for some time there'd been some doubt of the issued serial, and research showed that the original Dakota KG661 had been destroyed in an accident, so the aircraft was allocated with a new number, ZA947, which is what it has today. Cleared for para-dropping, she often displayed in this role, appeared in the Static Park air shows, so she's not very shy of air shows, but the aircraft was also adopted by Strike Command and issued to the BBMF in March 1993, so I bet that was so good to see that. I'm not sure if they ever had a Devon I'm not sure if they ever had a Devon in the BBMF flight, you know. I'd like to say so. But she is having a paint job at the moment. I think she's representing, I mean, I've seen it at Duxford last week or so, painted in 31 squadron colours. So the Southeast Asia Command. Southeast Asia Command. Yes, Southeast Asia Command. So it's got like an earth colour camo with almost like a forest green, and the roundels are different, not one that you'd expect. There's no red on there because of the Far East. Red meant Japan and Soviet Union, that kind of thing, you know. Red mean, you know, enemy, as easy as that. And the roundel will feature these good old sort of deep blue with a light blue as an indicator to identify from friend and foe. There we go. So it's a workhorse, the C-47 Dakota, and making its debut, I do actually have a beauty here. Look at this, making its debut. Look at this. This is actually ZA947 as a model. Now, it's, yes, you can see that word there. Obviously, it's not spelt in a bad way. And, yeah, family channel and all that, but that was its name, and it got its name to stop people whining. You know, that it was a right workhorse, 28 troops it would carry. There's injured troops with all sorts of really horrific injuries, but they were getting home safely with this. And yeah, if you try to pronounce that in a phonetic way, you'll know what I'm trying to get at. The pilot's like saying, look, quit your yeah, but that's the true name for it. It still has original graffiti inside as well, if you ever get a hangar tour when she's back. And it is an absolute beauty. There's a lot of people that love this for what it is, and you know how important of a role it served. You know, it's amazing of just exactly what it did for our efforts and those brave men, not only flying this, but also the men that were in there, the paratroopers. Absolutely, you know, the airborne divisions scattered around North Witham, and you know, lots of bases that were operating these secretly, even involved in our lost airfields for a secret mission before D-Day itself, a mission which, you know, is really important, which I'll talk to you about as well. But the C-47 Skytrain or the Dakota, now the civilian version is a DC-3, if you ever hear that. Extensively used by the Allies during the Second World War, and during the war was used as troop transport, cargo paratrooper drops. They did use it for glider towing as well, and military cargo parachute drops it as well. And the C-47 remain in the front line service with various military operators through the year. And we've covered a very special mission that the C-47, look at the engine spinning there now, look at it, absolutely beautiful indeed, with crew of 4, capacity of 28 troops, could also take 6,000 pounds of cargo as well, wingspan at 95 feet. All right, so that's 4 foot shorter than a Sterling as well. It's 29.11 meters, length at 63 feet 9 inch, 19.43 meters, and it was powered by beautiful Pratt & Whitney R1830 90C twin wasp. There were 14-cylinder engines, air-cooled as well, so they could take some damage. Max speed at 224 miles per hour. It could cruise at 160 miles per hour, and the way the troops would jump out was amazing. Trim tabs at the back. Now these little tiny little tabs, see, I don't know if you can see them very well. Can you see these? Trim tabs, really important. These little tiny little flaps here, can you see them? Now of course, these trim tabs were to keep the nose level in certain altitudes, and of course if you've got 28 troops going 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, jumping out, okay? You've got to remember the aircraft is getting a little bit lighter, and so the trim tabs allow the adjustment so that the nose can stay at you know, level, okay? Now do the maths here. Usually around about, I think they were dropping out of the C-47 around, would I be right in saying about 120 miles per hour, 130 miles per hour? Do the maths. What is the distance of one paratrooper jumping out in that second. It's going 130 miles per hour. You got one. Think how far a gap that is in 1 second. Times it by 28. So in 28 seconds, think of how far the distance between the first man to jump to the last. And then you could also think about that in the Lancaster bombing raids. In 7 seconds, it would have dropped all the bombs. Think of the first to the last, and it's going, what, 200 miles per hour, 180 miles per hour? It's, do the maths on that one, and the figures are staggering. It really is. But it's an absolute beauty. If you ever get in one, the first thing you will be struck is the steepness of this thing. It is extremely steep. If you've ever got in one to try and walk up to the top, it's like, goodness me. It's a bit of a stagger up there, a bit of a gradient, but like I said, a beautiful aircraft, you know, for what it did. And those brave men, you had to be a different breed, I think, to get in one of these, to be dropped out on D-Day. And some of those airborne divisions were just, those guys were absolutely something else. And we covered a lost airfield story as well. I think it was North Witham. I can't remember what episode we did that on. Was it episode? It was one of our mid ones, so it's probably episode 6. And the C-47s actually took part in a very, very secret. It was top secret. It was a secret mission, and it was to do with the Rebecca and the Eureka system. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. So this was at North Witham, okay, and it was at Station 479. That's what they called it, okay. And the 82nd and the 101st Airborne Divisions, they would wait for their missions, but there was a secret mission, and it was done carefully planned for months, and their secret mission was to position Rebecca Eureka radar and signaling beacons. Now, these had to be positioned behind enemy lines and on the battlefield, and the Rebecca radio system was actually like the transponder and SSR communication, like the aircraft sending out signals to the secondary surveillance radar and replying back, kind of like the I am here signals. This system was a short-range radio navigation system to assist dropping the airborne forces. The way it worked, you'd get someone to come back to drop out with the equipment, and basically they worked out, it's like the Doppler effect, or the, you know, the guy with the speed camera. It's the distance, it works out, so they can find out the distance on the landings, okay. So one will be like an antenna, and the Eureka will receive it to say, I found it. It's a Greek word, Eureka. It's actually Eureka, it should be a V, but we won't go into that. It should be a V, really, but anyway, you know, the U in Eureka should be V, but just saying. Anyway, so there was a system of these beams, okay, and it's that communication and the distance. So when the paratroopers would land, they know exactly how far the distance is that they were to their landing zone and other areas on that battlefield. It was a really important thing, and they did this. So yeah, and the Rebecca comes from the phrase recognition of beacons. That's where they got given the name. So that took part on one of our good old lost airfields. So there we go, making its debut on our show, the C-47 model. Okay, not the real thing, but we would like it. It's been gone for nearly 4 years, I think, hasn't it? It's been gone for quite a while. 3 years? Goodness me, it's a long time. I remember when we first started with my phone, that was with us. So there we go. A little quick, brief go. My name's Nick Ross, I'm your cameraman, historian and commentator. Let's keep an eye out on the Spitfire. You can track it on ADS-B as well, so that's all good. So it's obviously got ADS-B receivers. They don't have anything fancy in there for navigation, by the way, on those Spitfires and the Hurricane. They literally have an iPad in there, and they use like a special navigation system on there. They really don't. They don't have, but they have installed an ADS-B receiver in there. That's why you can see it on ADS-B. When there's usually like a formation, if they're close together, they will only appear as one aircraft. Okay, sometimes you'll only see one, then there's like the Lancaster with it, or they just need to give out one data on one of the aircraft, just so that everyone can, you know, they can manage that flight. Remember, it's not about transponders, it's about the ADS-B receiver on or off. You can disable the data. All right, remember that one as you do. But as I'm here, thank you very much. Hope you're all good and well. Hello, Brent from 15 Wings, Simon Watchorn, Paul Mayers, Aspen, what up? How we doing? Alan Burden, Margot. Hope we're all good. Babsar, hope we're all well. Oi, oi. Hope we're all good. It's a Ted surprise special. It is. Christopher Neal went on ready for duty when she was abducted. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? Really good. 50, thanks, Aspen did the maths. 50 meters separation. Wow. That's it's incredible, isn't it, to think that you know how far a gap is when you're dropping troops out. You know, one like that. It really, it's something you don't think about. It's something that you don't often think, well, hang on a minute, they're, you know, you see it on movies and it seems all nicely spaced out, which it is, but you just got to think of the distance. But I guess in some ways, if they're, you know, with their parachute, that, you know, I guess they know how to, you know, get onto that landing. It's like the Falcons, actually, now coming to think of it, the Falcons or any parachute display team, they can, you know, they're not like just going straight down and can't maneuver. They did have a degree of maneuverability to get into the landing zone. So yeah, hope we're all good, ladies and teddy bears. Welcome to our little surprise stream. I have no idea what's going to happen. Like I said, I just pitched up and I was like, oh, Spitfires round the corner. Looked pretty good. And here we are at Ted's home, Ted HQ. It's not the warmest of days, but hey, I've got tea, which is good. Tea is always good. Tea sorts out all the problems. But if you've got any questions at all, wow, pretty cool. Lots of you on the chat room. Thank you for joining us on this surprise stream. We'll be finishing around 3-ish like we normally do anyway, but we'll see what we can catch and keep a lookout on 8. See ya. We'll see what we can grab today. Let's have a look. We can track to see. Okay, so if you have a look on ADSB now, what I said about ADSB using GPS, and it can have a few issues with the GPS signal. When it goes a bit low, it really freaks out, and you can see what's happened as it's got over Melton Mowbray. So that looks like it skipped Maidstone, so that gives us an idea of our plan. It's nice to have the plan actually for the flypast. So Melton Mowbray, Earls Barton and Gedney Dyke. So it should be heading for Earls Barton. I don't know where that is. And I'll tell you what, since I've been doing this with the flypast, I've been learning some new places in Britain. So pretty cool, huh? I know where Gedney Dyke is, but Earls Barton sounds like London. Is Earls Barton London? Sounds like it, doesn't it? Or am I thinking of Earls Court? I'm having a look. Earls Barton. Oh, it's Northampton. It's not really near London, is it? It's going that way. And then Gedney Dyke, which is sort of what, Holbeach sort of direction, isn't it? Yeah, Gedney Dyke is Holbeach area, so I know that one. So yeah, keep a lookout on ADSB, and then we just got to you know, fingers cross it to what else we're going to get. You know, there's couple of Hurricanes, there's a selection of Spitfires. You just never know what's going to happen. Let's have a look, see what else we can obtain on info. So yeah, there we go. Welcome to the show, ladies and teddy bears. My name's Nikos, cameraman, historian and commentator. Welcome to the show. And yeah, nice little surprise. Like I said, I had a couple of hours spare, a few hours spare, and I thought I'll show you. One thing I will show you as well is the differences on these two buttes. I'll turn the camera around. I'll show you the difference of because we were talking. I was sort of hinting about the Avro Lincoln and the modified Lancaster. Look at this, right? So 2 Lancasters, right? Exactly the same. And this one's actually a ex-BBMF one. It was the J for Johnny Walker, and this one, Yankee Zulu, but it's a special modified one, which I think is why they made the move to get the Avro Lincoln sorted out. Because if you have a look, you'll notice something underneath here. This has the 22,000 pounder Grand Slam. Wow. Now, you will appreciate that they would have had to modify this one. Now, 617 Squadron, original markings were Alpha Juliet, right? When it was Yankee Zulu, it meant 617 Squadron had this underneath it, the Grand Slam. Lots of weight reduction, lots of modifications done to it. They had to rip out the weapons bay out, the bomb bay, completely modify that to carry this thing. Get rid of the top turret, any weight saving, because the Lancaster did struggle with 22,000 pound. You know, at the end of the day, it wasn't, you know, designed to carry that, but it could. It wasn't as maneuverable, so any fighters that would probably, you know, catch onto it, it wouldn't be very good at maneuvering away. It was going to be slower. So this meant that, hey, why don't, and Roy Chadwick and his, you know, and his crew, a great designer, ended up designing something more powerful. The US at the time were making something already, the beast of the B-29, huge bomber that was ready for it. The RAF in the end, you know, and Roy Chadwick and Avro, instead of like modifying the Lancaster, because PA474 that we have here, which is this one actually, because it was going to be part of the Tiger Force, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure it didn't have a top turret. I'm pretty sure it's modified to put that on there. I'm just trying to remember if that is the case, because there was no requirement for it for the Tiger Force. It's got different radiators, PA474. It was meant to go to the Far East, the Tiger Force, but the B-29 sorted that out, and that was the end of it. So the RAF had Avro Lincolns knocking about, but you know, they didn't knock it. You know, they used it for training. They were going to have 230 operational conversion unit, which was going to be at Mildenhall, but that got scrapped, and the RAF in the end decided to have Boeing Washingtons loaned to them, which are indeed B-29s in the designation. So there you go, there's our differences. Like I said, lots of weight reduction, lots of cuttings out, and trying to modify a 22,000 pounder Grand Slam bomb. Amazing though, isn't it? Amazing. Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's at Earls Barton now, and then P7350 will go to Gedney Dyke at Holbeach, and I believe, I wonder if it's changed it. It would make sense to go to Maidstone now, but hey, I'm not the one that does all this. But there we go. For those that don't know the history of RAF Coningsby, opened in 4th of November 1940, and in February, sort of late February 1941, this was their first aircraft, the twin-engine Henry Page Hampden bomber, ladies, gents, teddy bears. There it is. The Flying Suitcase was one of its romantic nicknames, the Flying Tadpole, all because of the fuselage was just a mere 3 foot, that's 1 meter. That is a bit cramped, and it started life out with 1,000 horsepower Bristol Pegasus engines, crew of 4. It could take 4,000 pound payload, and when you compare that to a 22,000 pound Grand Slam, it's yeah. But twin engines were what we had, and you know, it wouldn't be able to carry a lot more than that, I wouldn't have thought, but there we go. You know, it did its thing, but it was 106 Squadron that arrived here with that. And just to give you the idea of what was here first, as we like to show you the history of the base. There was no, as far as I know, there wasn't any airfield of the Royal Flying Corps here, although Lincolnshire, the second largest county in England, did have several fighter airfields of the Royal Flying Corps. So we're talking about lots of biplanes here. There we go. Problems with the Hampden was literally where the pilot was situated. The folding seat made it very, very difficult to get the pilot out should the pilot get injured or worse to fly that. But nevertheless, this is what Coningsby first had, and that was in 1941, designed by Handley Page, who was always fascinated by aviation itself. From the Wright brothers, he was influenced by the Wright brothers and decided to get into aviation. He was top of his class in everything. He was reasonably quiet. He loved motorbikes as well, reasonably quiet, and was always top of his class. And developed the Hampden with he added the Bristol Pegasus on the first ones. There were other variants. I think one of them had the Napier engines on there. It was called the Handley Page Hereford. It looked exactly like this, but of course the engines were different. You could cruise at 206 miles per hour with a max speed of 247 on those, and it could carry torpedoes or mines for mine laying duties as well. Empty weight was 12,764. That's half the empty weight of a Typhoon, for example. So welcome to the show. We've had the P7350 depart. So we're hoping to see it come back and not go anywhere else. And it's runway 07 in use, which is great, as the wind is kind of blowing towards us, which is good for this. I was a bit worried that it may be 2.5, but hey. Oh, absolutely. Rich Taylor, credit to the BBMF. They do an amazing job in keeping these icons of aviation in the air. Oh, absolutely. You've got to remember how old these aircraft are, you know, and you know how important they are as well. But the credit due to all the ground crew and teams, technicians who keep them going, keep them flowing as well. Dr. Ginger Bailey as well, good to see you on here. Mark Dudley, Paul Barnaby, Claire Bear's on here as well. Oi oi. And a big shout out to everyone who came to the Ted Coningsby community meet yesterday. Lovely to see you all there. It was a good buzz, wasn't it? So it's heading for Gedney Dyke at the moment. Stay tuned for hopefully anything else that turns up. Looking forward to that. But thank you very much. So yeah, next week's going to be quite fun. I'm going to see what I can come up with next week for you. So I'm looking forward to that. See what I can do. See if I can get you anything. See if I can get you anything else as well. So I am really looking forward to the conundrum that is trying to solve a puzzle of where to go, because it really is. Which is why, you know, last minutes are usually the best. You know, they usually are the spontaneous streams. They're always exciting. But yeah, welcome. I mean, the whole area around here during World War II would have been airfield of 7 miles was the average between airfield to airfield. That just shows you the structure and the whole core of military airfields during World War II. So you got Woodhall Spa, Spilsby, Dunholm Lodge, Metheringham, East Kirkby as well, you know, Waddington, all nearby, you know. And it amazes me, isn't it, to have, you know, just 7 miles apart from airfield to airfield. It's remarkable. And we had around about 300 during the First World War of military airfields, and then by the time we got to 1924 it was reduced just to 27. That's all we had. But amazing. And each airfield that we go to do our regular shows, they have their own rich history. They really do. and amazing to talk about it and try to, you know, excel and break it up into, you know, pieces to give the memory alive. And it's exactly what the BBMF do, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. They are literally a museum without walls, so to speak. You know, they flying the historic aircraft that once served for the very core of freedom. Brave men, just, you know, just joining the Royal Air Force, you know, to do one thing, for to fight for, to give freedom a future. And it's exactly what they did, and we can't forget them. And what they do is spectacular. Now 55,573 men, you know, making that sacrifice, you know, to you know, 55,573 is a staggering number. These young men, you know, youngest, what, 18, maybe less, because there were stories of a lot of them lying, even a little forged letter from their mum to join. And sometimes in the Air Forces as well, it was cool to be older than what you were, you know, to look a bit more, yeah, I'm older than you, you know. It was like that. It was literally amazing. But whatever reason, we can't forget them. We must never forget them. And, you know, I've always said, you know, to make sure that we don't forget, and the motto, lest we forget of the Battle of Britain, but let's give a motto for them up there to look down and go, they never forgot us, because I think that should go hand in hand to give them something, which is why the Ted Coningsby channel not only focuses on what we see today as a present, but also we must remember our past. You know, that is how I will keep going. I will keep doing it. But yeah, amazing. And we were talking about, you know, very, you know, we always give little brief hints of evolution of military aviation. How about the Spitfire problems with the engine as well? I was watching the other day, I can't remember when it was it a couple of weeks ago, I watched the film Battle of Britain. If you have a look at the Spitfires, do you remember when I told you the carburetor system, because the Spitfires, the earlier models, weren't rectified, but the later ones were kind of, it didn't cure this thing, but it was, you see, the Spitfires had a carburetor. They weren't fuel injected like the 109, for example. Fuel injection was a lot more, how do I say, had a lot more, less problems. You know, a bit like the air-cooled engine, the radial air-cooled engines, as opposed to like these, like a V12, not piston, in the radial sense. The problem was the float, the fuel tank float on these with the carburetor had a float system. So I did have a drawing for you, but it was like a bit like a float in there. But the problem with having a float and being a carburetor is that when pulling, when attempting to do negative G dives or going too much negative G, the fuel be pushed up and starve the engine from the carburetor of fuel. So it would push on negative G. You could see negative G on in-flight footage from display pilots. Some of the oh, what do you call them? Some of the cords on their kit stick upwards, so a bit like my hair. If it, the actual, some of the cords and on their G suits would stick up. All right, any, you know, things like that. So that would be effect on a negative G. A negative G dive would be to go down like that. What would happen? It would push the fuel up and starve the carburetor. They did come up with a, what was it, Beatrice's orifice it was called. I think it was like almost like a washer to try to stop that. I don't think it cured it completely, but anyway, the reason why I mentioned the film Battle of Britain, you can see this on one of the Spitfires. I think it was one from Duxford. It was doing a roll and it went and it cut out. You can hear it and you can see this smoke come out, this soot come out the exhaust as it restarted. You can actually see it on there. I can't remember where, you know, how far into it, but you'll see that. It's when this Spitfire's doing this roll and it cut out. So negative G wasn't its thing. So the only way to do that was to do almost like a split S to cure that problem. So this will be a negative G dive straight down. So what they would have to do, they'll have to go inverted and almost do like a split S, I guess. But little things like that developing. Really, really amazing how, you know, technology improves, and you know how we see things evolve in these sort of things. Right, let's have a little look at ADSB at the Spitfire. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. How are we doing? Yeah, so it's heading for Gedney Dyke, unless it's going to. I can't see it going to Maidstone now, but you never know. But, welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel, everyone. Daniel Walker, Margot Baxter, Rich Taylor, Kevin L, Boo Selector, G Van Pulliam, Mark Dudley, Leighton Prado. MC Hicks. Edward Coates. How are we all doing? Hope we're all good. Ginger Bailey, how you doing? Hope you're good. So the Supermarine Spitfire, beautiful design by R.J. Mitchell, who also was to go on to develop the potential and could have been the very first 4-engine heavy bomber of the Royal Air Force, but unfortunately that didn't happen due to two major incidents. One, that he passed away, and secondly, the two prototypes of the Supermarine 317 were sadly destroyed, leaving the S29, the Short Sterling, to take over that role. The Spitfire was of course made in lots of different marks, lots of different roles, such as the Griffin powered variants. It was taken on for a photo reconnaissance role, Merlin engines, everything. It was absolutely fantastic. Entered service after the Hawker Hurricane, delivered in 1937, the Hurricane in December, but the Spitfire had its first squadron, 19 squadron at RAF Duxford, and that was on the 4th of August 1938. Two aircraft, the Hurricane and the Spitfire, will always have their sort of in-house rivalry. The Spitfire with the distinctive elliptical wings and a very long depth from nose to the cockpit. The other thing as well, is this actually AB910? No, okay. Now, my injured Spitfire, this one here always reminds me of AB910. Always reminds me of that. And it's a wonderful, wonderful story that I will always recite, because it does have a wonderful connection to the story of Ted. And it was on the 9th of February 1945 at RAF Hibblestow. A lady under the name of Margaret Horton, who was a Women's Auxiliary Air Force flight mechanic, she had a flight on here unexpectedly. You see, the narrow landing gear on the Spitfire, look at this. So if these were folded out there, I might have to get a fixed Spitfire. I might have to get one that's I've lost the elevators, but it's the elevators that are actually a crucial part to this story. But So the Spitfires on and you know, other aircraft, other light aircraft as such, there was a procedure during World War II called rough weather procedure. You may have seen, especially on the U2, you may see some crew on the wings there to, you know, to keep it balanced and such. But during rough weather on a Spitfire, due to the narrow landing gear, in rough weather, the Spitfire could be prone to topple over. So what they did, they would get ground crew to hang on to the elevators or hang on to the back of the tail to hold it down during really bad weather, or what they called rough weather. And it was in 1945, on the 9th of February, at Hibblestone, where flight mechanic Margaret Horton, she was initiating rough weather procedure. So this, like I said, would involve crew sitting on the tail of the Spitfire to stop the aircraft from tipping over. Now the Spitfire, as we showed you, has a very narrow landing gear, so in windy conditions the weight of one person would be enough, or sometimes two would be enough to hold it. So Margaret Horton initiated rough weather procedure, and shocks away as the aircraft began to taxi. Okay, and Margaret was sat on the tail of the Spitfire, and the pilot was unaware that Margaret was still on, and proceeded to take off. And off he went for the flight with Margaret hanging on. Now Margaret was like, what is going on here? She couldn't jump off now, she was airborne, and she hung on to the elevators, all right, she obviously for dear life. And the aircraft started to go 200 feet, 300 feet, 400 feet, and you know, although the fin made it difficult for her to fall off, she was experiencing a blood rush to the head and feeling like she was going to black out. And it was when the aircraft was AB910 was at 600 feet that the pilot realised that there was something not quite right with the Spitfire, and something wrong with the elevator. It wasn't really reacting very well. So still unaware that she was he had an extra passenger, Margaret, on the back, the pilot did the right thing and contacted air traffic control to get permission to land the aircraft, as it wasn't quite right. Now the flying control officer, depends what you read, may have known about it and chose not to tell the pilot that he was carrying an extra passenger on the tail to not startle the pilot. But it was only while after this episode, though, that the pilot was actually informed, so he had no idea until the Spitfire landed back. Now Margaret was hanging on to dear life, and the pilot, to Margaret's delight, landed back, and Margaret was like, oh my word. And as he was just about to touch down, Margaret's beret went flying off, and Margaret actually jumped off to go and get it. Now this falls hand in hand on why I allow Ted's beret to come off, because it's in honour of Margaret Horton. Now berets were given by the King at that time, okay, and should you lose your beret, you had to forfeit 2 weeks' wages. And once the aircraft went back, the pilot was told what happened, and Margaret went for a cigarette and a cup of tea. And they all asked her, why did you get your beret? She's like, because I earned it. There we go. And that, of course, is the story of AB910, which is part of the BBMF's lovely, lovely collection. So the Spitfire is now heading back, P7350. So we could get a lovely hangar break as well. Oh yes, ladies, gents, teddy bears, we've got a hangar brake as well. And runway 07 has just been approved. Oh yes. Get ready for Merlin sounds. Get ready. It'll be a hangar brake as well. Looking forward to this. Okay. It's time for the return of the Spitfire. Here we go. Get ready. It's going to be a hangar break, which it's always exciting to see. Get ready for this. WCU doing their thing. I can hear it. There it is, there it is, there it is. Here we go. Sorry, that caught me out. I really thought it was going to come the other way, but there we go. Nicely done. Looking at the world's oldest airworthy Spitfire, ladies, gents and teddy bears. Beautiful. Well, I think it's time for a cup of tea after that. Silver Trig, you're welcome. Christopher Neal, 555 Triple Nick, thank you very much. Fresh from the Shadow Factory at Castle Bromwich, served in the Battle of Britain as well. She is a veteran, and she is the world's oldest airworthy Spitfire. These are all genuine. All the inventory of the Battle of Britain Memorial Flights inventory are all genuine. Thanks a lot, Ginger Bailey. Hope you enjoyed that. A nice break, and we'll just give it another hour and see what else we can get. Right, I'm just going to go and get a cup of tea.
Doing it, ops, radio check.
Excuse me. You don't know when there's, is there something coming or is it? Have you got no idea? Oh right, okay. Right, fair enough. Cheers, thanks. I thought you looked like you knew what you were doing with all the setup.
I hope so.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's not sure yet. I'll be around.
I know why was that? I said to Mike, oh, will it be bank holiday if there's an air show? And Mike, oh yeah. Where's the narrow show from now?
What?
Where's the narrow show from?
I'm pointing at you.
I was joking. I was only joking.
Go on, catch me.
Let me just be careful in case Carl
Oh, I'm just having a quick cup of tea, ladies and teddy bears. Just hope we're all good and feeling well. Hope we're good. Like I said, I'll just do another hour, see what else is going to happen, and that'll be it. And I will go and continue my weekend. That's the way it works. I just thought, 3 hours. Let's get a FedEx, see what we can get. So thank you very much.
That's what when I sat in and I looked in the review mirror, I was like, oh my god, that one increased a bit little. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the camera.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can see as well, like, even like when you drive, you can see because it's you're driving, your car, you're going camera.
How we doing, ladies, gents, teddy bears? Hope we're all good. Like I said, we'll finish up about 1500, see if we can do a bit of potluck. Good old traditional plane spotting. Lord Denver, no worries. Hope we're all good. And welcome to the show, ladies, gents and teddy bears, and thank you very, very much for joining us on this little chilled out stream where we could, well, at least we've had a Spitfire, haven't we, Teddy? Yep, definitely, we have indeed. And lots of you supporting the channel, thank you very much. Top fans is what you are, thank you very much indeed. And a big shout out to Margot Baxter, Guards March, thank you very much for the super sticker. The Guards March to you. MC Pick celebrating 2 years, it's foon time. Well, there won't be any foons today, but MC Picks, love the stream, hell yeah, thank you very much. But no foons today, it's really all about the BBMF movement if we get any. Dave, EGBK, high five, welcome to the Ted Coningsby squadron, thanks for joining us. Rob Kennard as well, thank you very much for streaming today. Guards March, thank you very much for the super chat. And Ginger Bailey, thanks for the super sticker as well, Guards March to you. And Alistair Goodwin, a high five, paw pump, and a salute for gifting a whopping 10 Ted Coningsby memberships, thank you very much for that. And yeah, hope we're all good, ladies, gents and teddy bears. And I'm still gonna potluck it, see if we can get anything before we literally start our weekend. And I had no idea that I was going to have a few hours spare. I thought, well, let's give it a shot, see what we get. But it wasn't a zero, we had the Spitfire today. Well, Lord Denver, they can do if they want to, but they'll need clearance. All aircraft have been designed to take off into the wind. However, a lot of props, heavy props such as the C-130, can take off with the wind. They don't really have any bother. All aircraft can take off with a tailwind, it's not an issue. But the issue is how strong to a limit, and also they need clearance from ATC to be able to do it. So they are capable of doing it, but don't forget there is a limit to how much tailwind. I mean, if you've got 100 miles per hour tailwind, that could cause a few issues. The whole point of going into the wind is to get extra lift with the assistance of wind coming towards you. So therefore it's a lot more economical. That's really what it boils down to. And of course, the in-stream checklist, don't forget to hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, all helps. Give us a thumbs up as well, and a like. Not many give you a Spitfire over the weekend, right? I know. Hit the like button, and of course do subscribe to your one and only Ted Coningsby channel. So we're just going to play a little bit of potluck here now for our last 45 minutes to see what else we're going to get, apart from cars. Mind you, there's been a classic today from Steve. Steve's car. It was awesome, wasn't it? Yeah, there we go. You're right there, how you doing? No idea. There won't be any typhoons today anyway, I know that much.
Yeah, okay, no worries. What, is this your YouTube channel that's on the...
Yeah, just join us. Like, subscribe, Ted Coningsby. Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
There should be something about.
We do literally just literally just rock up on a potluck chance. I have like I said, we do always make contact. I've made contact today to let them know that we're here. Ted, what's this? We rarely see your feet, young man. There you go, a bit of a rare one today for you. Jenny Lee, thank you very much. Koa, Nick Banayodi, how you doing? Utah, it is again, like we always say this all the time on every stream. There is no lineup. This isn't an air show. It is pure potluck. See what happens. Lord Denver, congratulations on your 35th wedding anniversary. Oh, on Monday. But you're working. Because you never know, we might be streaming on Monday. You never know. And 35th wedding anniversary for Monday for Lord Denver. We're all good, ladies, gents, and teddy bears, and welcome and to everyone. Now normally we'd I'll tell you what if I talk about history? It might work, innit? It's always the way, innit? That could be a surprise. What else have I got here? A little, tell you what, I was trying to find today, actually this is quite funny, some of my classic drawings that I've done. I was trying to find you the float of the Spitfire. I couldn't find that drawing, but what I did find you is a carburetor, and this was used during the video that I did of the Vickers Wellington bomber MF509 that sadly crashed out at the Brecon Beacons, and I was showing you the example of what the dangers of icing. So with injected fuel, it's a lot different to having a carburetor. So you'll have your fuel tank here, but the Spitfires, like I said, I had a drawing of the float, you know, with the inside the fuel tank where it would open up. And the thing is with carburetors, you'll have a throttle valve, so it's got this like nice little shiny piece here that opens and closes. You know, you see those like proper muscle cars have them as well, and it opens, and you know it controls the amount of air, so the pilot can pull the throttle to allow the air. Now what happens in really icy conditions, when you get the hot cold sensation, you know with the air going in and that change of temperature, that temperature drop can start to cause icing. So if your throttle valve is opening and closing, you can see the problems here. As the ice builds up, it's going to get stuck. You'll start to get it on your throttle valve, the ice builds up, and inside that Venturi beautiful bit, and you've got the fuel just going in there from the tanks. The icing is going to cause all sorts of problems, and this is sadly what happened to MF509. Also, completely off topic but related to aviation, on the other side of this wonderful drawing, I was trying to draw the effects of aerodynamics on a Typhoon, and just to give you an idea of the effects of drag and from the and you know the aerodynamics from a delta wing with the foreplane, that you can see what's going on here. That's why you get this beautiful like trails of like a lot, it's not spluffage, but it's a trail, those vapor trails going on the sides here that you see. Wonderful. You see that a lot on the F-16 actually, the way it's been designed. These are good, these are visual aerodynamics that you can see when you start seeing ribbons like that from here. I mean, that's classic. It's a classic F-16 ribbon that is actually. You'll get that as well on the Tiffy. There we go. At the moment, I'm actually drawing DAS at the moment, because I've been learning a little bit more about the F-35's DAS, and there are 6 of them, by the way, so I've been trying to find them. Hope we're all good, ladies, gents and teddy bears. Welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. We'll just stay for another half an hour before we finish up and go into our weekend. And it's always good to give it a bit of potluck here. And welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. Normally on our regular shows we'll be featuring the Typhoon that's based here with the 5 squadrons, and of course any others that bring our luck into vision. But welcome to the show, and we are here today for the BBMF movements, and we've had one Spitfire today, which was great. Always good to see something. At least we got you some movement today. William C88, welcome. How you doing? Hope you're good, man. But yeah, big thank you to everyone who tuned in yesterday. That was brilliant, really good vibe all day on a day that was reasonably quiet, really, wasn't it? It was pretty quiet for our movements, but it doesn't matter. You could see the buzz in the background with everyone with the Ted Coningsby's community meetup yesterday. It was absolutely amazing, really fantastic stuff. Couldn't believe it how many of you, about 30 TCC meetup, the Ted Coningsby community meetup was just fantastic, and a big shout out and a true testament to the channel's community. With on a day we just had 4 departures, and yet all day over 1,000 watching pretty much all day. Amazing, until a little bonus right at the end with arrivals, which was nice after a good 5-hour wait, wasn't it? Was it about 5 hours? About 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, maybe 6. It could be a potential 6-hour wait for any movement, but there we go. So yeah, thanks very much all of you that have tuned in today on a bit of a potluck. I've got half an hour left before I depart for my weekend, and yeah, that's the way the Ted Coningsby channel is. You know, we just turn up and hope for the best, and that is the nature of it. You just turn up and just have a bit of patience. It is a bit of relaxing, just chill. It's all good, and we all have fun even though we haven't had anything, and that's the benefit of the channel. You know, you can come in and realize that it's a lot more than just a military aviation channel. We do talk aviation. If you've got any questions, of course, fire in. There's no choir today, no. Yep, so you just never know. And okay, so there's a user here, plain and simple one. Again, you can't answer that. You have to turn up and hope for the best. There's no point saying, will it be flying on Wednesday? Will it be flying on Friday? Will it be flying on Tuesday? You just need to just have a bit of luck and just go for it. No one knows the answer. It is military aviation. You just turn up and hope for the best. That is the way it's done, and we always portray that. And even if you get nothing, don't worry, enjoy. There's always another day, right? You know, and it's lovely. You got some, you know, lovely community, and that's what it's all about. But of course, for those that love history, are in for a treat, because that's what we do. We talk history, we talk aviation, we break aircraft down into how it all works as well. It's a great channel, great community, and didn't think about that. You know, there was a memory that popped up on my social media that I went full time. It was my last wedding. It was like saying goodbye to the wedding, and that's what I did before. And I packed it in, left it, and this is actually my second year full time doing this, so it's actually quite cool, isn't it? So all is good. Happy times, happy times. Simon Watchorn, how you doing? Muzz, Brian Wood, Simon Watchorn, Daniel Walker, Margot, how you doing? Hope we're all good. Ed Smith, thank you very much as well for joining us. How you doing? Jenny Lee, thank you very much. Yeah, where's the choir today, right? But like I said, it was a bit of a potluck scenario today on an adventure. Just having a look at ADSB, see if we've got any randoms. You never know. And that's the way it is. But Paul Mayers, how you doing? Peter Atkins as well, welcome everyone. And yeah, nice one. And then, you know, on our regular show I will be planning, of course, to come back, but from, what are we on, 23rd, so yeah, another week, and we're heading north. We are heading north. We got, you know, from then, not saying I'm going to fit it all in September, but we got the likes of Valley, Mackloop, Lake District, Lossiemouth, Leeming. We're going to spread out a bit more in the north this time of year. That's what we normally do, and looking forward to it as well. So Lake District streams will be coming up as well. Looking forward to that. and can't wait to get you some low flying area. But of course, with the low flying areas themselves, they're actually a nice, just relaxed stream. You know, you can just enjoy the landscapes as well, and that's what it's all about. Ed Smith, yes I have. If you look at the lost airfields, Metheringham, I've talked about the FIDO system in depth as well. So that's the lost airfields on one of our episodes. We talk about the FIDO system as well. An interesting system that was given to the RAF bases to disperse fog. A very clever idea of just using oil and petroleum basically to light up and burn fog away. So yeah, RAF Metheringham, as Metheringham was one of the FIDO stations. It was one of the FIDO stations to be selected, and you'll find out a bit more. So check out our Lost Airfields episode, look for Metheringham, and you'll see it. Check the logic. Did you once work at Feltwell? The answer is no on that one. Alex Raven, no idea. Wouldn't have a clue on that one. I do not know, I'm afraid. The only fly past there was a fly past over Maidstone, but I think that got cancelled for whichever reason. Doctor, how you doing? Oi to you. Alex Raven, hope you're all good. Daniel Walker, hope you're well. Ed Smith, I used to live near Carnaby site. Okay, cool. Ed Smith, yes. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the airfields and who was there, check out Lost Airfields. We've got it as a playlist as well, so you can have a look at the history there. So just our last 25 minutes to go while we're just waiting, praying, hoping. Let's have a looky here now. Okay, right, be right back. I'm just going to have one more cup of tea before I pack up. How we doing, ladies, gents, teddy bears? Just almost coming up to our end of show with a bit of potluck. Like I said, it just took the opportunity just to give it a quick few hours, as I say, quick few hours, you know, because sometimes you get a long 3 hours, sometimes you get a short 3 hours, you know how it is. But yeah, there we go. It's worth having a little shot in it, especially when it comes to, I mean, I had a look. I don't think we did a BBMF movement stream since May, but of course it's been full on since then. Amazing what we've got lined up for the rest of the year as well. We've still got, like I said, heading north and finishing off the year in style on the 30th of November. We've still got about 15 tickets left to the Ted Coningsby Party 3.0. Looking forward to that as well. So yeah, we just coming up to the end of our show. We've still got let's have a look. Still got yeah, we'll finish around 3 o'clock and hopefully get some more BBMF. You never know. It is, you know, separate to the regular training that goes on with the Typhoons here, but yeah, looking forward to it. I'm going to finish up and head for the weekend. You know how it is, and yeah, enjoy. But anyone got any plans for this weekend? Anyone doing anything? Yeah, let us know what you're doing. If you got anything you want to share, what you're doing this weekend, let us know in the comments. Oi, oi. Hope you're all good. Could do a quick Q&A as well while we're here waiting for our last sort of 13 minutes. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us as well. Wayne, yes, there is. They do have a night fighter livery on the Oi, oi. How you doing? All right? Yeah, they do have one. They got 2 Spitfires, 2 Hurricanes here at the BBMF, and on Monday to Fridays you can go into the museum. There's also, you can book a hangar tour. I think it's about £11 or thereabouts. They do have an allocated designated car park as well. There is a car park in the town as well for, you know, just having a wander in the town as well. It's just £2 for a whole day. That's a bargain. Mike G, yes they have. We had a Spitfire, it was a P7350, the world's oldest airworthy Spitfire that's actually a veteran and took part in the Battle of Britain itself as well. And Sue 56 Jim is you're going to Silverstone Festival tomorrow. All those glorious cars. Well, I hope you have a good time. Hope you have a good time there. And yeah, so we had the Spitfire. It went out for what, 50 minutes or so, and came back. Nice little hangar break as well. It's always good to have that. But there we go. What was the name of the choir that sang yesterday? That was our very own Ted Coningsby community. That's who it was. It's amazing. So you got Sam, who's going to be doing some cleaning, and a trip to Applebee ice creams tomorrow. That sounds good. Yeah, so it wasn't a zero. We did have a Spitfire, which was nice and pretty cool. Let's have a look if there's anything else. So Sandra Sanger, nice, surprised to see you streaming, Nikos. Mr. BBMF, as I didn't know you were on. Enjoy the rest of it. Yeah, it was literally just got up this morning and thought, right, I've got 3 hours just to chill, let's go. Yeah, no, 3 hours to chill, so I thought I'll come here, go to Ted's home. Ted doesn't have far to go, he lives here, so he lives at 29 over the hangers, so you know how it is. Oh dear. What else we got? Yeah, if you got any questions, I've got 10 minutes left before we finish up for the day. But like I said, it's worth just coming here if you've got a spare few moments. Have a look, you never know, you might get lucky. Claire and I used to come here, and we used to go to the what once was, it's had a name change, still owned by the same people, restaurant called Pacini's. We used to come and get our pasta or pizza and chill out here, and just you know, on a weekend, you just never know, you might get lucky. That's the whole point of it, you know, you just turn up and hope for the best. Yeah, all good. Let's have a look. You got Daniel Walker, who's taking a trip to Thorpe Abbots for a spot of volunteering. Nice one. That's all good. But yeah, if you got any questions, let me know. And yeah, I've got to give you some more details on when we're at Marham or when we're at Lakenheath. Just going to give you a little bit more depth on the DAS system, the special DAS system. Oh yeah, Steve, all right? Good. Right. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine.
I'll turn that off while it's now.
Hey man, all right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I must admit I didn't notice it was down here, so I thought we'll just swing by and say hello. Well, yeah, you don't have to do that, mate. So because you're using my account, you're down as a subscriber anyway, that's free. That just means you know you get notifications when right. We've said hello. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Well, yeah, that might help.
Works better. Yeah.
1, request permission to enter taxi track Delta from Class K6.
I'm going to go and pack and go into the weekend, I think. Oh, how are we doing, ladies, gents, teddy bears? That is our weekend done. I think that's we're going to call it a day then. And we've had a good time. We've got to see the Spitfire P7350, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was lovely to see the Spitfire, especially on the hangar brake as well. Unfortunately is it, but like I said, I just had a few hours to spare, and there we go. Temperature, see if we got anything else. Andy Butcher as well, thank you very much for joining the Ted Coningsby squadron. Guards march to you. Guards march, thank you very much. High five to you. And also Peter Atkins with 17 months membership, always the best military aircraft, thank you very much indeed. So that is us done, we are complete. We're going to head off for the weekend. Thanks a lot everyone that's tuned in. And well, there we go. I think it is now the last time for the week, I think. Goodbye everyone, hope you have a good time. So ladies, gents, teddy bears, my name's Nikos, I've been your cameraman. A little bit of history today. And commentator, this is our squadron leader Ted Coningsby. You've been watching the Ted Coningsby channel live here at RAF Coningsby. So dare to say it, for the last time for the week, it is see you soon. Wish you well, ladies, gents, teddy bears. Take care, see ya. Oh yeah, ladies, gents and teddy bears, welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel membership. I'm Nikos, I'm your cameraman and commentator. This is our squadron leader Ted Coningsby. Just want to say a massive thank you to all our members. Guns up, and oh yeah. Take it away, Ted. Ladies, gents and teddy bears, we want to say a massive thank you to all of our subscribers for getting us to where we are today. We have gone all over the country, from as far as Lossiemouth to Bryce Norton, and military areas such as air weapons ranges, low flying areas, heritage centres and special flights for TED 2. We cannot do this without your support, and your support will be rewarded. You can now join the Ted Coningsby squadron and help fund the channel to get us around the country and provide us with the funds for equipment to bring you better content too. We have 3 exciting membership levels with awesome YouTube perks to reward you back for your support. Our first level of membership is the Ted Coningsby squadron. You'll get a loyalty badge on YouTube, unique unique TCS emojis that you can use on comments and live streams, members only videos which include behind the scenes, deleted scenes, sneak previews and also music videos that Ted likes to play the electric guitar on. You'll also get access to members only Discord server and discount on all of our Ted Coningsby merchandise. All of this for just $1.99 a month. Oh yeah. Our second level of membership is the Posh Officers Club. This includes all of the squadron perks, private Posh Officers Discord chat room, Posh Officers discounts on all of our Ted Coningsby merchandise, and the poshness of supporting the TCS even more. This is just £4.99 a month. Our third level was inspired by many of our fans who have been supporting the channel massively. So we'd love to reward you back with this, and our third level of membership is the Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron. This gives you a more personal experience with me and Ted, with exclusive live streams and content. You'll get a free Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron patch, a private Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron Discord chat room, a gold colour Discord username, and a higher discount on all of our Ted Coningsby merchandise. All this for just $25.99 a month. Ladies, gents and teddy bears, the Ted Coningsby channel cannot thank you enough for all your support. And it's this support that keeps the dream, keeps the stream. Thank you so much. Oh yeah.